Jungkook and Yin are having breakfast together. Yin can't stop looking at her husband's face, which appears expressionless. Jungkook realizes that she has been staring at him since earlier, but he just lets it be. Honey, do you know that you're actually very handsome? Jungkook almost chokes on his food hearing his wife suddenly praise him like this during a meal. Yes, I know, I am handsome. So, I don't believe that back then you claimed you had never dated before. Is it really true? Aren't there any girls interested in you? Why did you agree to our arranged marriage? Yin, I've discussed this with you multiple times. Why do you keep asking the same thing? I told you I have no ex-girlfriends. I don't have any, clear? Alright, I'll believe you from now on. But you've never explained why you've never dated before? Aren't there any girls interested in you? It doesn't make sense. Well, there were a few who asked me to be their boyfriend, but I turned them down. Reasons? Why did you reject them? They weren't my type. I wasn't interested in them, and at that time, I thought dating was too much of a hassle, and I didn't want to be bothered. Hassle? Then, if you have a wife now, don't you consider it a hassle? Earlier, I mentioned dating, not marriage. I find dating bothersome, but I didn't say the same about marriage. So, what's your type of woman? Why did you say they weren't your type? As for that, I don't know, and I've never thought about it. So, am I your type or not? Jungkook immediately looked at his wife. Honestly, he didn't expect his wife to be so straightforward with her questions. Honey, answer my question. We've been married for a month. I should know you better by now, right? Whether you're my type or not, you are my wife now. I accepted this arranged marriage, which means I accept you as my wife. I'll take you as you are, good or bad. Isn't that more important? Okay. Finally, the two of them continued their breakfast in silence. Honestly, Yin felt a sense of relief knowing that her husband had no women in his past. Despite this marriage being arranged, she really didn't want her husband to turn out to be entangled with shadows of his past, but it seems Yin's worries are unnecessary. I'm done. I'll leave now. Jungkook is now standing, getting ready to grab his bag, but hastily Yin approaches her husband. Shouldn't you kiss me before going to work? Jungkook smiles faintly before raising his hand to touch the back of her head, then briefly kissing his wife's forehead. Take care at home. Yin just smiles and nods briefly. After that, Jungkook leaves the house to go to his office. After Jungkook goes to the office, Yin is alone at home, accompanied by the maids. Actually, she doesn't want it to be like this all the time. She wants activities for herself. She wants to go out, but her social circle is limited. Since she studied abroad, most of her friends are overseas, and it becomes a constraint when she feels bored and wants to go out. Alright, it seems Yin will be more impatient waiting for her husband to come home today because apparently, there will be something to discuss tonight with him. Currently, Jungkook and Yin are in their bedroom, getting ready to sleep. However, honey, there's something I want to discuss with you. What is it? Actually, every time you go to the office, I feel lonely at home. So, for the past few days, I've been thinking, what if I work at your company too? Are you sure? Initially, I thought about working at my father's company, but after thinking about it, why not at your company? Besides, my father will pass on the CEO position to my brother, Jin, so there won't be any difference whether I work at my father's company or yours. And you prefer to work at my company? Of course, we can stay close to each other, right? So, do you actually want to work or just want to be close to me? Well, of course, I want to work, but if I can work at my husband's office, that would be even better, right? Besides working, I can also be close to my husband. Isn't that delightful? If that's the case, what position do you think would suit you? What kind of role are you looking for? Anything is fine. What if I place you in the cleaning and organizing department? Making coffee, tidying up desks, watering plants? Huh, you're quite heartless. Do you really see me as your wife? I'm just kidding. I wouldn't actually put you in that position. Alright, how about being my secretary? Would you like that? Of course, I'd love that. Actually, that's what I hoped for, and it turns out you're thinking the same way. But what about your current secretary? He'll remain my secretary as well. The difference is that he'll focus more on handling administrative tasks, so he'll be stationed at his desk. Meanwhile, you'll play more of a role as my assistant or right-hand person. Until now, he has been handling everything, and he's quite busy managing it all. With you joining, his workload will be lighter, but if you become my secretary alone, you'll also get tired of managing everything. Alright, I agree, and I'm really happy, honey. But, what's the matter? When you work, behave professionally. Of course, but how professional should we be as husband and wife? As professional as possible. So when should I start working? It's up to you. When would you like to start? If you want, You can start working tomorrow. In that case, let's start tomorrow. Alright then. Okay, now I'll go to sleep since I'll start working tomorrow. Suddenly, Jungkook gently hugged Yin around the waist, pulling her body closer to his. Then he leaned in close to her ear. Before you sleep, and before you serve me as your boss tomorrow, serve me first tonight as your husband. Jungkook immediately kissed Yin's lips, and Yin responded eagerly to her husband's kiss. They immersed themselves in a passionate and heated atmosphere. Moans and sighs echoed in their room, their fingers intertwined, and their bodies perspired. Finally, tonight became an exhausting night for both of them. Following the plan from last night, Jungkook and his wife have now arrived at the company building. Starting today, Yin will be Jungkook's secretary. They exit the car and walk side by side into the office building. All eyes from the employees gaze at them, offering respectful greetings to their boss and his wife. However, many of them wonder why his wife is dressed in office attire today. They step into the elevator, heading to the 15th floor, where Jungkook's office is located. There, they are welcomed by Dongmin, who is currently Jungkook's secretary. Good morning, sir and madam. Welcome. Dongmin, there's something I'd like to discuss. Come into my office. Certainly, sir. Now, the three of them have entered the CEO's office. Jungkook took his seat at the desk, while Yin sat on the sofa. Dongmin remained standing near Jungkook's desk. Dongmin, starting today, my wife will also be working alongside me here. She will be my personal assistant. Some of your tasks will be taken over by her. You will still focus on managing my administrative duties, and the tasks of accompanying me wherever needed will be handled by her. That's the plan. Oh, alright, sir. Honestly, my workload just got lighter. Exactly. So from now on, please hand over all my schedules to my wife, as she will be accompanying me everywhere. You continue managing the remaining tasks in the office. Okay, sir. Dongmin bowed and promptly left the room. Jungkook is currently hosting one of the clients in his company. They have gathered in the meeting room to discuss a project that will be a collaboration between their companies. As usual, since Yin became her husband's secretary, she faithfully accompanies him, especially during moments like this client meetings. Many times Yin has faced their clients, and there has usually been no problem or inconvenience. But it seems that this client is different. This time, the client is a middle-aged man accompanied by his daughter, who serves as his assistant perhaps. Well, Yin doesn't really care about that woman. However, for some reason, the woman seems interested in Jungkook. Yin can confirm this because throughout the meeting, the woman consistently looked in Jungkook's direction, with a continuous smile on her lips. However, Jungkook never once glanced at the woman, mainly because the client here is the father of that woman. After an hour-long discussion about the collaboration project, Mr. Jinghoo finally spoke up. Alright, Mr. Jungkook, for our next meeting, my daughter will represent me in our discussions with you. Let me introduce her to you. This is my daughter, Ailey. The woman accompanying Ailey immediately flashed a sweet smile at Jungkook, continuing to gaze in his direction. Yin was almost nauseated from witnessing it. Oh, that's not a problem then. The meeting for today finally concluded, and before leaving the room, Mr. Jinghoo shook hands with Jungkook, followed by his flirtatious daughter, Ailey. During the handshake, the woman seemed reluctant to release her hand from Jungkook's, making Yin feel like exploding. However, shortly after, Jungkook forcefully pulled his hand away. The old man and his flirtatious daughter eventually left the meeting room. Oh my, I am really furious seeing that flirtatious woman. And why is she the only one coming for the next meeting? Why doesn't her father come along? Let it be. Don't bother with her. She's just a client in our company. As long as they can collaborate effectively and bring benefits to the company, don't worry about it. Besides, you're always by my side, so there's nothing for you to be concerned about. Jungkook, I don't like the way she looks at you. Her gaze suggests that she has wild imaginations about you. Like she's a woman with dirty fantasies. She's utterly disgusting. So, what do you think? Should we just cancel this collaboration? No need. I'm just annoyed that she dared to look at you so wildly. Doesn't she have any shame, especially in front of her own father? You don't need to worry, Yin. It doesn't mean I'll entertain her advances. Or how about this? During the next meeting, don't sit too far away from me. Perhaps she acted like that because she doesn't know you're actually my wife. She probably assumes you're just my secretary. Fine then. I feel relieved being your secretary like this. I didn't realize how many women would try to flirt with you if I weren't your secretary. And never think that I would care any of them. A few days later. Now, the next meeting with the woman accompanying Ailey is scheduled for today. It is currently at 9, and the meeting with the woman is set to begin at 9:30. Yin is in the CEO's office, preparing all the necessary documents for the upcoming meeting in approximately half an hour. All the documents are ready, Jungkook. Now, we just need to wait for the arrival of that flirtatious woman. Alright then, we still have half an hour. I'll catch up on my other tasks for now. I've been thinking about that woman, even though I haven't seen her yet. For some reason, the thought of her coming back to the company makes me uneasy. Our last encounter really got on my nerves. Yin made a promise to herself that this time, she wouldn't allow that woman to flirt in front of her husband. Yin won't let it happen. With a sigh, she recalls how daring and flirtatious the woman's eyes were when looking at him. Restless, Yin approaches her husband who is busy with his laptop. She stands right next to Jungkook, observing him working without being disturbed by her presence. Honey. Hearing Yin calling him like that in the office, Jungkook furrows his brows slightly, as it's unusual for her to behave like that at work. Jungkook immediately stops his work and looks at his wife, who appears upset. I want to make that woman realize that you are mine. She shouldn't be flirting with you, especially when I'm right beside you. Okay, baby, I'll introduce you as my wife. Maybe she assumes you're just my secretary. That's why she acts so freely. It'll be different when she knows you're my wife. Yin remains silent, listening to what Jungkook says. She understands that her husband is trying to calm her down and prevent her from getting anxious and emotional. However, suddenly, an idea crosses her mind. With a mischievous smile, Yin moves even closer to him, eventually sitting on his lap. Jungkook watches Yin, puzzled by her actions. Yin, we're at the office. Why are you doing this? Shh, no one is watching us besides. Professional behavior between husband and wife at the office is only necessary when others are around. When it's just the two of us like this, it's not needed. Baby, why are you suddenly like this? Nothing. I just wanted to mark my territory so that the flirtatious woman knows that you're mine, and she doesn't need to try to get close to you again. I'm sure seeing this will frustrate her. Without saying much more, Yin leans in towards her husband's neck, planning a gentle kiss before proceeding to give a slightly firm suck. Jungkook is initially surprised before he sighs, realizing what Yin is doing to him. After a few minutes of nibbling on his neck in a visible spot, Yin finally pulls her lips away, looking satisfied as she admires her mouthwork, a Hickey. I'm sure after this, she won't dare to flirt with you anymore. Jungkook chuckles at his wife's antics, realizing how possessive she can be. Alright then, let's get back to checking the documents we need for the upcoming meeting. Yin nods in agreement and proceeds to stand up from his lap. She walks back to the seat in front of the CEO's desk, ready to focus on the documents meeting. A few minutes later, the sound of knocking on the door is heard. Come in. The door opens, revealing Dong Min entering the room. Sir, Miss Ailey has arrived, and I've escorted her to the meeting room. She's waiting for you now. Okay, we'll head there now. With that, Dong Min bows and exits the CEO's office. Jungkook looks at his wife, who seems to be getting irritated. He knows it's because they will meet Ailey, the flirtatious woman again. Come on, baby, don't keep frowning like that. I'm sure this time she won't dare to pull any tricks. Fine then. With that, they both leave the CEO's office and head to the meeting room. Jungkook and Yin entered the meeting room in their company building. As they walked in, they noticed Ailey sitting alone. Yin's smirk grew more cynical when she realized that Ailey intentionally came alone. Was her intention to meet Jungkook? Yin once again grumbled in her heart, questioning why this woman came and seemed to think she could have some private time with Jungkook. Of course, Yin wouldn't let that happen. Yin's face grew angrier as she saw Ailey smiling sweetly at Jungkook. However, apologies, Miss Ailey, have you been waiting long? My wife and I had to prepare some important documents before this. Wife? What do you mean? Yes, my wife. Perhaps I was late in introducing her to you yesterday. This is Jian Yin, my wife and also my secretary. Ailey looked genuinely surprised and shot a sly glance towards Yin, who displayed a smirk on her lips. Hi again, Miss Ailey. Ailey's face appeared tense and rigid. Suddenly, her eyes caught the Hickey on Jungkook's neck. Did they even engage in such intimate acts in the office? Her heart heated up even more, questioning who else could have done it if not. Her eyes now shifted again to Yin. There was a sense of disappointment in Ailey's heart because, no matter what, her plan to get closer to Jungkook had completely failed. She couldn't compete with Yin, who, as it turned out, was not just a secretary but also Jungkook's wife. Despite intentionally arranging to visit Jungkook's office alone, without bringing her secretary or personal assistant, hoping to have some private time with the handsome CEO, Ailey's fantasies crumbled to dust. They continued the meeting regarding the follow-up plans for their collaborative project. This time, the meeting felt much more comfortable since there were no longer Ailey's eyes staring at Jungkook wildly. Ailey realized that throughout the meeting, her movements were continuously monitored by Yin. Certainly, Yin kept a sharp eye on the flirtatious woman. This time, Ailey felt uneasy, sensing that she was cornered, without friends, and constantly under surveillance. Time dragged on for Ailey, and she wanted to bring the meeting to an end. Finally, after another 15 minutes. Okay, Mr. Jungkook, it seems your explanations are quite clear. Let's conclude this meeting. I will immediately convey all of this to my father. Oh, is that so? Alright then. Don't forget to send my regards to Mr. Jinghu. Okay, I will do that. Well then, I'll take my leave, Mr. Jungkook. Jungkook simply nodded without offering a smile to Ailey. Eventually, Ailey left the meeting room, leaving Jungkook and Yin alone. Shortly after Ailey's departure, Jungkook turned his gaze toward Yin, who was now sitting neatly in the office. Are you satisfied now, baby? There's nothing more for you to worry about. Yes, I'm satisfied. Thank you, Mr. Jungkook, for protecting my heart from jealousy. Jungkook chuckled at his wife's behavior. Shortly after, he stood up and walked towards the exit of the meeting room, with Yin following suit. They returned to their respective offices.